All right, y'all, welcome back. Happy Monday, October 20th. Yes, we got audio, it looks like. Got Mike. Hey, what a crazy day. What a crazy day. If you guys hung out with us on the weekend chat, some of y'all were asking me about Beyond, and we talked about it, and we talked about the potential for a big push up this week because the bond conversion news and the dilution hopefully was absorbed by the market, at least temporarily, on Friday. And so, yeah, I did enter the Beyond trade and pre-market today. I know a lot of y'all did too. Wow, look at this. This purple line that I have drawn on the chart here, that including this evening's, if it holds till tomorrow, you know, just kind of where we're at right now, this is about 180% run, including the extension so far into overnight hours. I have no idea, guys, what's going to happen when we get into pre-market tomorrow, or what kind of news the company might issue. You know, it'd be lovely for me to see another extension on this tomorrow. It's still relatively cheap. Volume today, 1.2 billion shares on a free float of 63 million. I think it's probably more than that right now. Did the bondholders already get their new shares? Are those already part of the float? Is it really 370 million shares, not 63 million? What do y'all think? Do you think the new shares are already in the float? I do. I think they are. Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? But, you know, when something is hot, whether it's 63 million or 370 million. When something is hot, you're going to have this turnover. That is why they have the terminology for it, share percentage turnover. And if you tune into any day trading channels, you guys know nobody that day trades is surprised, perplexed, upset, writing the SEC about a high percentage turnover. It is part of the game. It's expected. There's people trading literally thousands, tens of thousands, millions of shares in seconds to make small profits and then just playing the chart. So I see these pumper accounts, call the SEC. How is this possible? It's easily possible. It happens in many tickers every day. Many tickers every day. It just means there's high interest and a lot of trading going on. And although some of us might hold out for $1 or $2, whatever your plan is, there are other people plenty happy to trade it for pennies because they're buying huge size. And they will do that over and over and over and over, the same people. And so, yeah, this kind of volume is perfectly normal. Is it a short squeeze? Yeah, yes, say. Let's double check. I forget even what we said on this weekend, but let's see. Short interest, 62%. I mean, you guys always want me to tell you something is a short squeeze, and I always tell you my rule is we do not talk about short squeeze unless that number right there is over 20%. We got 62% as of September 30th. Now, that's really old data. That is old data. But we can also see the current borrow fee. It's dropped down a little bit, 68%. I would say use a little bit of common sense and caution as you're trading this because the borrow fee is going down. Looks like the shorts are taking down some shares. They're probably trying to snuff out this run. Let's keep them in a little bit of pain until tomorrow. That's what I'd like to see. But at some point, they're gonna come in and try and snuff us out, us long gamblers. Andrew, I'm glad you're doing well in the trade. Chris, same to you. Kyle says HFT turning over the same ticker 100 times. Yep, high frequency trading. Those of you that day trade, do momentum trading or tune into any day trading channel, you know exactly what's going on here. Those of you that are listening to the conspiracy theorists, you're going to be perplexed. You're going to be upset. You're going to think it's crime and manipulation. How is this possible? You're not listening to the right people, or they're lying to you for engagement. This shouldn't be possible. It's easily possible. It happens all the time on many tickers. Most of them you guys don't pay attention to because they're not high short interest stocks. But every day there's tickers with massive turnover. But no one talks about them because they're not short squeeze plays. And so the short squeeze grifters, I call them, the ones who think everything is crime, they love to talk about this. They won't talk to you about the half dozen every day other tickers that do the same damn thing. Cheers. Have the drink of your choice tonight. Have a little bit of fun. I'm drinking water with half a squeeze of lemon. I thought about having a diet soda, but I really don't want any caffeine this late. So we got Beyond Madness. I have not checked recently if there was any additional news. Nope. And I it's anybody's guess what happens tomorrow. So as always, don't be afraid to take profits if you're well up in the green, or at least peel a little bit off, because you know how those shorts do when or if the company does something, press release, these things can evaporate in a minute, or they could they could go on like this for 2 days. So we'll see. Want to go on record. I am not encouraging you to hold for $1,000. Always be taking profits. That is a tenet, a rule on this channel. Doesn't mean you need to, sell your whole position, but I want to see you guys, wherever this thing ends up, I don't want to hear any crying. There's no reason to be in the red on this play. There's no reason to let all of your gains evaporate either. Yeah, I was tempted myself, Chris. When I saw it flattening out at the end of the day, I was like, should I sell? Yes, I should. But roll the dice, Tony. And I rolled and I held into overnight. And so far, I'm still doing okay. So far, I'm still doing okay. Even if it pulls back. I mean, it'd have to go all the way back down to under $1 for me to be really hurt. For me to be in the red, well under $1. So well, I think we'll be okay. But I want to see you maximize your gains. Wedmore says, I'm guessing it's too late to buy in. See, that's where it gets real tricky, Wedmore. I got to be real careful what I say, because I don't know your risk tolerance, how diversified you are. I mean, you throw a couple bucks at it, what's the worst that's going to happen? But, there will be people that buy $10,000 worth at the top, wherever the top ends up being, tonight, in the morning, Wednesday. There will be people going, the higher it goes, the higher it goes, the more people are going to be sucked in, and they're going to go in on size because they think it's going to $1,000, and then it's going to get rugged. I don't want to be the guy to tell you to jump in. The higher things go, the less likely me personally am to jump into them. And that's why I woke up early this morning, opened my eyes after our conversation this weekend, looked at Beyond. I was like, on my phone, buy. And then I went back to sleep. And then only when I woke up and came in and looked. At first, I was like, well, shit, it's going down here in the first hour of the day. But it recovered. We've seen these kind of things play out, and they have their little ebbs and flows. So good job if you held. Don't leave money on the table. And may the gods be with us mañana. Brandon says, do I teach day trading? No, I'm not a day trading instructor, Brandon, but I love to talk about it. I have... to sit here every day, Brandon, I'm always going to tell you guys, I want you invested in value stocks. What do I mean by that? Established companies, when you look at the chart, you see nothing but years and years and years of profits, not the chart. When you look at their financials, growing profits, growing net income, hopefully a dividend, plenty of cash on the balance sheet. Those should be in my opinion, the bulk of your portfolio. But they're really boring. I've tried making videos about them and no one wants to watch them. No one wants to learn how to make money securely and relatively risk-free. It's the craziest thing. We've made a lot of money on some of these value tickers, sometimes 100% by buying them at the right time, 100% in less than a year. But no one wants to hear about blue chip stocks that are undervalued at the moment. So, the other thing that we do is we look for momentum trades. We look for high volatility trades. We look for social media sentiment plays and short squeeze plays. And I will play those in a variety of different modes. Day trade, in and out, several times, sometimes momentum trade where I might hold it for a few days until the momentum fades. Swing trade where I might hold it for days or weeks. It just depends on the ticker, and it's hard to teach since there's no one formula. It depends on the ticker and what's going on. But those things, the day trades, the swing trades, the momentum trades, keep the day-to-day interesting for all of us. I never want you to think it is the majority of my portfolio. I'm not trying to make a multi-million-dollar swinging 7-digit positions on a day trade. I don't do it that way. I enjoy gambling, but I also know how to manage my risk. Andrew, thank you for the gift membership. I appreciate that. And Anya appreciates it. Sudeep says, Tony, what do you think about UPST? It has 30% of the float shorted as well. Let me take a look. Let's get back to, no, let's talk about UPST. Is that Upstart? Let's talk about that before we go into the other meme stocks. Yeah, that is Upstart. So 44 bucks. The problem with something like this, Sudeep, and it's not necessarily a problem, but when you start getting into these price ranges, there's going to be a lot of retail traders. If we're looking for a social media sentiment play, that are just not going to be as interested in trading this stock because they want the 50 cent, the $1 stocks. So I wouldn't ever say discount these if it really is a high short interest. But just in my own thinking, and when I have my filters on TradingView, I have filters set for certain price ranges because that is what tends to blow up easier. UPST. And that's just a mentality thing. Doesn't mean that it's accurate in terms of a $50 stock could squeeze as easily as a $1 stock, but seems like people are more interested in playing cheap stocks. The next thing I would look at, 30%, and maybe you know, Sudeep, does this stock have convertible bonds? Just a question. Let's find out. Dilution. No, let's look at UPS. Let's look here. They took on a bunch of debt in 2021. Let me do a little quick scholarly checking. Yeah, Upstart has multiple outstanding convertible notes, low interest rate, maturing in 2026, 2029, 2030, and 2032. All right, so here's going to be, I'm only going to look at this ticker for a couple seconds. Here's why I'm keying in on this. Remember what happened with Cinemark? They had convertible notes and the company's profitable, and they were running over 20% short interest because of convertible note hedging. Same thing I've been talking to you guys about on GameStop. And so even though the short interest appears high, these are not directional bets against the company. They're just hedging, and that short interest will remain there until the bonds mature. Let's see, cost to borrow is almost nothing. Wait, sorry, Cinemark. Cost to borrow, I just wanted to see real quick how much short interest is still in Cinemark. See how it was 20%, and now that the bonds matured, the short interest, they're unwinding their short hedge. It dropped all the way down to 11%, almost overnight, as soon as those bonds matured in the middle of August. And this was never anyone betting against Cinemark. So the next thing let's see if my theory is correct. How is this company doing? And what is the forecast from analysts? Analysts have a $74 price target. It's at 50 bucks. PE ratio forward is 25. Seems reasonable. They have growing revenues over the past 2 years, and even higher than the 2 years before that. not quite into positive operating income on the annual. Let's look at the quarterly. All right, so they have had 3 positive operating income quarters. I mean, I'm just going to guess, and I could be totally off base here. I'm going to guess that a lot of that short interest is not people betting against Upstart, but rather convertible bond hedging. That's something I'd dig into if I was you, Sudeep. Chris says, I just learned there is in overnight trading the cap of 20% maximum gain. Yeah. There is, I think, only one exchange that actually executes the overnight trades from the various brokers that do the overnight. And if you have a high volatility stock, they will cut off the trading. That is a fact. We've seen that in other tickers in the past as well. Blue Ocean, yeah, boats. And you can go look that up on boats rules. They have a hard cap. Anya says, do retail traders flock to the cheap stocks because it takes a smaller move for a greater percentage? Yeah, I think so, Anya. I mean, we always talk about the buyers fading out. Can you imagine if a $50 stock runs to $100? It's going to fade a lot faster if you're counting on retail to push it up than a 50-cent stock moving to $1. There's a lot of people that will buy the heck out of a 50-cent or $1 stock that are a lot more scared, even though, you know, there's no reason to be scared. They're a lot more scared to do the same trade or just not able on a $50 to $100 stock. Chappie Lenips says, Chappie almost made me spit my water up. How does a stock trade so much in one day? I think, and I want to hear from you guys, what do you think? Remember, we knew that those bondholders were getting a F ton of shares, 316 million shares in exchange for their debt, if I'm not mistaken. So is the float really 68 million on Beyond, or is it 370 million? I ask you the question. I will tell you many, many times when I see these talking head dum-dums on Twitter saying, FBI, SEC, how does this penny stock trade 1,000 times the float? Every single time, 99% of the time, they are completely ignoring the fact that the float substantially changed, but it hasn't updated on the broker yet. We see this from these same people that don't read corporate filings. They're looking at, oh, the float says it's tiny. No, you got diluted, or they did a split or something, and it just hasn't updated on the broker yet. So I don't know with Beyond, but my guess would be, first of all, the turnover was not as high as it would seem, because I think the float might be higher than what we're seeing in the brokers, and it'll take a week for them to catch up. But even if I'm wrong on that, as we were saying earlier, there are plenty of stocks every day, especially if you're looking at the morning high percentage gainers that the day traders are playing, the momentum traders that have high turnover just like this. And you don't ever hear about them. You don't ever hear people complaining, bitching, screaming about them because they're not high short interest, and these people just aren't paying attention to them. So I don't know. Are those people that are doing all the complaining, are they really aware of it and they just are grifting you for attention, or do they really not know as much about trading as they imply? Because this high turnover is not unusual. It's unusual, like, for it to happen to one stock, but in terms of, does this happen every day in different tickers? Absolutely. And most of the time in tickers that don't even have short interest, so you don't ever hear about them. But, you know, people love the story of, oh, well, the shorts are they're creating trillions of synthetic shares. It all kind of confirms their own theories. That they ignore all the ones that have massive turnover with no shorts because that blows up their theory. They don't want to talk to you about that. But those of you, like I was saying earlier at the beginning of this live stream, those of you that day trade, momentum trade, or tune in to anybody who does, you know that high turnover is not unusual. It's not illegal, and it's not a sign of anything other than a lot of high frequency trading at size. Yeah, I mean, it is still 3 times the float, but Chappie, I'm telling you, I see this all the time on many tickers. If I started doing pre-market live streams, I bet you we could find 2 or 3 different tickers a day that have massive share turnover with no short interest. They just move on news, and then the day traders pile in, and then the computers pile in on top of that, and it becomes a self-fulfilling machine. And you'll never hear one day trader complain about it, raise an eyebrow about it. It's the expectation. It's what they're looking for. They're not complaining about manipulation. Only these people that need to drive a narrative about shorts manipulating stocks, they're the only ones that care. And I think that they're just mistaken because they're not looking at all the other tickers this happens to that don't have short interest. Chappie says, I think they swap shares to dilute the volume. I think, here's the other thing I was talking with some folks about today, and this is just pure tinfoil. I think if I was a debt holder of Beyond last week that took a major haircut on my debt, a loss, and got shares in exchange, and the stock was trading at 50, 60 cents, and I'm a bondholder. I don't want to own equity, but now I got 316 million shares. What do? What do you do? You're holding a sizable position of the float that's worth almost nothing on a company with an uncertain future. What do? You go farm social media and plant the seed about a upcoming short squeeze. And then you let social media do its thing. And then you let the price run up. And then you unload your position. Those new shares you took. Imagine. I mean, I get it. I'm being very cynical. I'm being very tinfoil, but I think a lot of the things that happen are driven by bondholders more than hedge funds. A hedge fund that's short wouldn't want to create a narrative that a short squeeze is incoming. They'd want the opposite. They'd try and convince you that it won't happen. But who would want a short squeeze? A bondholder that just got 316 million shares. They want a short squeeze, or they want you to think there's a short squeeze. They want the volume to come in, the FOMO. I'm just saying, I mean, it's possible. I have no idea if that's right. That's kind of like what's been going through my head all day today, and is another reason that I still bought the damn stock in pre-market. Because if they're going to go farm social media and convince everybody this is going to happen, hey, I will hop on for the ride for a little while. And then I'll take my money, my green, and I'll be out. I ain't trying to hold this thing to $1,000. I mean, what do y'all think about that theory? Am I nuts? Can you at least acknowledge that the bondholders could be playing us in a lot of these stocks? Why do we think that the shorts are the one controlling social media? I think there's many people controlling social media. Not controlling it, but planting the seed. And there are conspiracy sponges out there just waiting for someone to tell them what they want to hear so they can blast it out. And that's what these guys are counting on. They're counting on the conspiracy sponges to regurgitate it and spread the message, and then boom, there you go. There you go. You get 180% run in a day on it for no reason. So all I'm saying is whatever's going on, I don't care. We kind of have watched plenty of these plays. We kind of know the recipe and how it goes. There's still not guarantees, but we talked about it over the weekend, and we kind of thought that it might run today for a variety of reasons. And we hop on and then we hop off. That's how I do it. I'm not writing this for a moonshot. Let me refill my water, and we'll be right back. We're not riding it for a moonshot, but we are riding it for some profits, baby. All right, let's get old Clint off the screen. Cheers. Where's Dan? Let's talk about some AI. Y'all want to talk about Ryan Cohen and GameStop for a hot minute? Nothing better than ice cold water out of the cooler over there. What do you call you know, when you're in the office and you got a water cooler? What do you call those things when they're in the home? A home water cooler? I'm thinking as I get older, I need to get the one where the jug, you just slide it in on the ground level. I'm thinking ahead like 5 years. Am I still going to be able to lift a 5-gallon jug all the way up there? Maybe have to work on Scarlett's biceps a little bit, get her to do it. Water dispenser, Chris. Yeah. I used to have water delivery, and I rented the cooler or whatever, you know, the electric piece, and then they kept on raising the price, raise the price. I was like, screw this. After years, I just canceled it, and then I said, are y'all going to come pick up the cooler? They're like, we don't have any record of you having a cooler. Okay, thanks. And now we just buy the 5-gallon Nestle Pure Life or Ozarka, whatever, at the grocery store. Yes, it's more of a pain, but we just consider it part of the workout. GameStop today. Who was here on the live stream watching that interview at 2:00 Central? What do y'all think of Ryan Cohen? There's so many things I want to talk about with you guys over the next couple days. I'm going to put out little snippet videos. The first one that I put out this evening was the most shocking to me. There was some good things, about trading cards and inventory velocity. We'll get into those tomorrow with some other little quick videos, but I wanted to really talk about the one that I think was the most shocking for everybody to hear. The last question of the interview, when they asked him, are you in communication with Roaring Kitty? What do you think about Roaring Kitty? And Ryan said, basically, what do I think about him? Why don't you go ask him? I mean, to me, I couldn't see his face. He called in the interview, but if I'm hearing the body language in his voice, him and Keith Gill have traded words. That's what I'm hearing. They traded words, and then they unfollowed each other, and then Keith Gill sold his position and bought Chewy. That's what I'm hearing. I haven't talked about this with you guys in 2 years. I've been avoiding talking about this, really. But, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think that's what happened, and Ryan Cohen's not exactly happy with Keith Gill, maybe trying to flex his muscles or push his weight around. And Roaring Kitty probably not happy with Ryan Cohen dropping convertible bonds and ATMs. But Ryan's doing his job. Ryan's doing his job. And so Roaring Kitty moved on. Maybe he came back when as the company is stacked cash. I'd love to know that he's come back. Maybe, you know, we'll see. We'll see. I'd like to hear what he thinks about power packs, but I really would like to hear a couple quarters of increasing revenue and increasing earnings. That's when we know we're in the safe zone. Right now we're in the speculative, it feels pretty good if you got a good entry zone, but we're not completely protected from risk. But I you know, if we get a good entry here, and I feel like I have a pretty good entry, then 2167. It's not risk-free. But if GameStop ever announces something with their cash, then, you know, I think maybe we revalue the ticker. And they've got plenty of cash. I have no concerns about bankruptcy or anything like that. So it feels like a pretty good trade, but I am not trying to accumulate 10,000 GameStop shares like the pumper channels. It's one position of many for me. We've never made any secret that I swing trade GameStop, and I think you should have a diversified portfolio. Little plays like this make things fun. They make things interesting. You swing them, buy cheap, sell into run-ups, pocket some cash, rinse and repeat. You could upsize your position size with the profits if you're patient, wait for it to dip back down. Now, you know, that's been a great trade since 2022, doing it like that. But it's a shifting trade now. Now we got the convertible bonds, we got institutions, we got the warrants, we got the bonds will in effect dampen volatility. You got the additional dilution overhang now of the warrants, and it's not really the same trade. So I'm having to reevaluate constantly what I think about it. I'm not really, I don't know how long I'm going to hold this position at 21 bucks. Meaning I might just be sitting here waiting for a year, and that's fine. 2. It's fine because I'm not fully leveraged in one ticker. My entire existence does not revolve around GameStop. You know what I mean? It's that comfort of being well positioned and not dependent on one company. So you're not going to hear any crying, cajoling, anger. We're in a real zen position. Andrew says, we speculate Ryan bought Beyond because he did it before Bed Bath & Beyond. Yeah, I don't know. I think he saw an opportunity with Bed Bath & Beyond to maybe save one more retail powerhouse brand. And then he saw that wasn't going to work out, and he sold his shares and he filed and moved on. And I was very lucky. I was playing that run up back in that day. Those live streams are still up, and I exited the trade, I think the day before Ryan Cohen exited. That was just luck on my part. I was, you know, typical Tony, only trying to play the momentum, and it looked like it was topping out. And so we took an exit. We talked about it on live. We talked about that trade many times around that time frame before Cohen exited and after. And I said back then, Ryan Cohen is getting out. You guys need to get out. If that was your thesis. And so my belief has never changed. Ryan Cohen has nothing to do with Bed Bath & Beyond, BBYQ, or BYON. Nothing to do with them. And Marcus Lemonis has said as much as well. I know that's upsetting, and I feel bad for anybody who listened to PP and Gang, but there's just a ton of bad DD going on. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just like, you can't read documents and create alternate meanings. It's very black and white what happened. The only reason these guys do that is because they have to delude themselves that they didn't make a wrong decision, and they will continue to do it until it is inevitable the last court filing that it's over, and it will be over at some point, but they're not going to get any money. Sparky says he thinks Roaring Kitty is out of GME. It sounded like a swipe. Sounds like you are in agreement with me, Sparky. Anya says, why have high hopes for collectibles? And Chris says, I heard a rumor that the capybara guy that got banned from Reddit could be Kitty. I don't know. I'm vaguely familiar with that guy. I did not read any of his Reddit posts. I did look at him for 2 minutes on Twitter over the weekend as I was doing my DD. But whatever that guy is doing is irrelevant to me. I had already kind of made up my mind as I was talking to you guys over the weekend on the live stream that, this was worth taking a small swing at. And so that guy's just sideline entertainment for me, capybara. Chappie says, what do you think of SLV? Funny, you should ask. I used to trade SLV, and I recently retook a position in SLV. A little bit late to the party here, but if these guys that think that silver is going to 100 or 200 bucks are right, I'd like to be at that party. So I don't know. I mean, I'm long SLV. I own SLV. Again, I'm not putting 20% of my portfolio in silver. I just have enough to make it fun. It's all about diversification, having your eggs in multiple baskets. And I'm bullish on SLV, but I can't guarantee you that I'll be correct. Robert says GameStop is a swing trade ticker. Amen. Y'all want to see my GameStop trades again real quick? We'll look at the last few years. I was dumb and I did not buy. I don't know what I was doing. I made videos and said it was going to go down to 10 bucks, just looking at the chart and the financials. And it did. It hit $9.95. The only thing I won was a bet with Owning the Float, another YouTuber. I bet him that GameStop would see under 10 bucks, and I won that bet. That's not me hating GameStop. That's just me looking at the financials and the chart. And I should have bought in size then. And I should have bought when Roaring Kitty first started tweeting, but I finally bought in June. When it took me 2 months because this big move up, I was like, shit. All right, we got momentum. It's confirmed. I bought in at $29.70 in June. I sold a couple days later, half my position at 60 bucks. And I sold the rest the next morning when we got news from Ryan Cohen, I think, that he had diluted. These are not, these should be over here. This is June. I don't know how they got moved. I bought here June 3rd. That's right there. All right, now they're more lined up with the timing. I don't know how those got shifted over. I should lock them. So I sold overnight, half here. And I think it extended in after hours. Is that right? At any rate, buy, sell, sell. Let a new demand zone get established. There were, this would have been a good time to buy and then sell into it, but I was patient for a while. And when I saw it dip back down, I was like, all right, I feel comfortable here. And I bought at 21.25 in April, sold at 33. in May, came back down to 21.61, and I bought again. So that catches us up for the last 18 months. And I shifted my trading from GameStop to swing trading on July 25th, 2022. That was the official date. Look at what happened to all the holding I was trying to do before that. I was like, hype on a forward split? Yes, please. I'll take an exit and try and get smarter about this. Because this holding thing is for the birds. And look at that. It went all the way down to 15 bucks, then $9. So yeah, for me, swing trading's the way. You can do whatever you want. I embrace all. You want to buy and hold, that's cool. You want to swing trade, that's cool. You want to sell options, hey, you're pretty fucking smart. There's no hate here. If you want to make money and you found a way to do it in GameStop and you love the company for whatever reason, you always will have a home here. There are other channels. They don't want you if you sell options. They don't want you if you swing trade. I just want you to make money. We don't fall in love with one stock. Chris says, I'd be willing to bet that if not for the 20% cap, that that Beyond would be over $2 right now. I believe the same, Chris. I believe the same. Chappie says, the holding thing is crazy. You can always buy more. I know. I was having, this little OTC ticker that we've been following, Railtown. There's a guy that covers this ticker that's been telling people, even when it was 68, 70 cents, he was telling them, you better buy all you can right now because you're never going to have a chance to buy it cheaper again. And what do I stuck my big nose in there and said, I bet you can. I bet you can buy it cheaper if you're just patient. Follow the basic rules of this channel. And look at this, all the way down. He was telling them, he got so mad at me for telling them, be patient, wait for a good entry. Don't listen to him, he's working for the shorts. You could have just been patient for a few weeks and bought it for 40 cents. And now his whole channel's up in arms against him because he didn't tell them to be patient. Like, patience is the number one thing you need to learn to be a good trader. All this hype is done, I think, to make you make bad decisions. It's done to make you make bad decisions. And like you were saying there in the chat a minute ago, you can always jump in. A lot of times, when we're looking at a swing trade or a momentum trade or a day trade, what are we looking for? We're looking for confirmed momentum, several bars, depending on what time frame you're looking at, 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 day, 4 hour. We're looking for several bars confirming that the momentum changed in the other direction. And God, be on your side that you caught it early enough. It does require many times that you be sitting here watching the ticker, depending on what type of trading you're doing. But once you see that momentum shift, that's when you go in. You don't want to catch a falling knife. All these people, oh, thanks for the dip. It's going to keep going down. Let it go down. Push it down more. No. Stop thinking that is smart. Wait for it to bottom out. I mean, if you love your money, you should be patient. You can always find a cheaper price. And then when you see it turn, then take your little bet. And if it's confirmed, increase your bet. And if it keeps going up, increase your bet a little more. The worst thing you can do is keep buying all the way down. You end up getting wrecked. And then you're crying. You're crying. We don't want you crying. Sue Deep says he bought 300 shares of Railtown today. Good job. I think, for a reasonably sized position, it's a fun little side play, Sue Deep. We could be holding Railtown for a year. We need to see some earnings results. And I do think that they have potential in the future to be a buyout candidate. But man, the numbers these people are talking about on the other YouTube channel just seem crazy to me. I'm not saying they're impossible, but I certainly wouldn't be making videos promising you that. It's gonna be bought out for $10 billion. If it is, then my small position is gonna be just fine. This guy's got people literally on his channel that have spent $100,000 buying OTC stock that has no revenue. $100,000. I mean, yeah, they'll be billionaires if the company gets bought out for $50 or $500 like he's telling them. But what if it doesn't? Then you spend $100,000 at 68 cents and it gets knocked down to 40. How you feeling then? Like, come on, let's use our common sense head. Size your position according to the risk. I guess, if you got millions to burn, 100,000 on a gamble play is like nothing. I've seen people put that much down on a blackjack table, a craps table in Vegas. I've also watched them lose it real quick. I was at the craps table in Vegas. That's my jam. And this Arab guy comes down with a suitcase full of chips in his bathrobe. And I forget what he was playing, $500 chips. He's like, across the board, he bet on everything. Craps out. Here you go, stack of chips across the board. 7 out. I watched him burn like my whole trip budget in about 15 minutes. He lost. Then he got up and walked away. I'm like, holy shit, man. I wish I could just walk up and not even care. I always care a little bit. The only time I don't care is when I'm so up on the house money. But after, if I'm really, really up and I have a lot of money out on the table and then somebody, the run gets snubbed, I'll feel that sting and I'll know, take all my chips and go home, baby. We just made 10 grand on $1,000 starter. Yeah, we're gonna enjoy the rest of this trip on the house. Thank you very much. Slave King says, with GameStop, what's a little confusing to me is 2 options with the same dates. We're talking, the 2 options. Okay. The standard and the non-standard. Okay. He says 2 options with the same dates, but one is adjusted for warrants and one is not. So hey, Slave King, we covered that before the ex-dividend date, and this was my general thoughts. The non-standard options, GME1, what I said before the ex-dividend date is that those would be suboptimal for you to hold. It's not that they're horrible. You have the warrants attached to them. There's no benefit to them either, though. They're suboptimal because they will have less liquidity, less people trading them, and that lower liquidity will create wider spreads, which is suboptimal for you when you want to exit. Now the house is they're gonna snub you on a wider spread because nobody's buying them, nobody's selling them, and so I would have liked to see exit that trade and just move this into the same strike on a regular GME standard option. But it's not horrible to keep them if you're okay with where you're at. just slightly suboptimal. You can probably go look at the options chain and see what I'm talking about on the wider spread. It's not gonna bankrupt you. It's just suboptimal. Bailey says the Beyond options chain was crazy today. I should have bought some options, Bailey. I was so busy with other stuff this morning. And like I said, I had bought my Beyond this morning. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh, it's starting to move. With my eyes closed, I bought some and then I went back to sleep. And I really didn't think about it till later in the day. I was like, oh, yes, that worked out. Let's go. And I'm still holding. But man, those of y'all that had the balls or the lady balls, Bailey, to buy some options either Friday or this morning, congrats. I saw some people posting big, massive, like what, 300, 400, 500% gains. Very nice. Chappie says, real talk, what is the deal with the barcode trading on AMC with 20 plus million volume? That is the question of the day. And I've had the same question, and I've been having conversations with people much smarter than me about that. Trying to get to the bottom of what the heck is going on. The price action, first of all, does not surprise me. Right? I exited this trade up here. I have not owned AMC since November because of exactly what's happening right now. And I've been talking to you guys about it for a year. And people block me and they leave the channel. They don't want someone that paper-handed. But I mean, let's be real. This was the right decision. 434, we're at 277. I'm not against AMC. I don't hate AMC. I hate losing money, and I could see what was going to happen. So why am I still reporting on it? Because I'd like to trade it again when the risk is taken out of the play, but we're not there yet. For me, we're not there yet. So why is the price barcoding? Q3 losses, which you're going to find out about in a month. Q4, maybe not as great as we would like it to be. I see people telling you it's going to be $3 billion. I mean, I redid my Q4 numbers. I spend a lot of time looking at the movie industry. I redid my forecast for Q4 this morning. That's what I was doing this morning for 2 hours. And I ratcheted down my Q4 forecast. I only talked about it in Discord because YouTube can't handle it. But we might talk about it at the end of the month. And besides that, there's a corporate action, a vote coming up in 2 months. So the price action is not surprising to me at all. But to get to your question, where is the volume coming from? That is the $1 million question. And I agree with you. I mean, I can't say that I have any answers. But I have some theories. I have some working theories that I'm pulling the threads on, trying to see what makes sense. Day trading, bondholders, delta hedging, unwind. You know, the lower the price goes, that creates buying pressure from the bondholders that are running ARB strategy on their bonds. So as the price declines, they're closing their short position. They're not betting against the company. They will buy as the price drops to close out their shorts. And if the price takes off, they will short it more. It's just delta hedging. It's not betting against AMC or betting with AMC. It's just managing the hedge on their bonds. Where is the rest of the volume coming from? Someone was trying to have a conversation. I was going to say argue, but it's not arguing. We're just talking. We're just investors talking, trying to figure it all out. I certainly don't have all the answers. He was like, Tony, is definitely the institutions are going long. They believe in AMC and Q4 box office. They want to get long while it's cheap. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. I think that they are looking 60 days ahead at a vote, and they're trying to wring as much profits out as they can in whatever method they need to. Buying shares, selling you options, buying shares, hedging it with options, selling shares, going short, hedging it with options, running ARB strategies on their bonds. There's so many ways they can make money that we can't. And how do we know that they're doing it? Because you see it in the volume. Do I have it figured out? No. But as we said earlier today, there's only 3 or 4 things I'm focused on. I don't worry about all the noise on social media. Focused on box office, Q3 and Q4, net income and cash flow, and that corporate action coming up. That's all I care about. That is driving my trading decisions, not the daily short volume, not the short interest, not the cost to borrow, not the volume, not how much is on the dark pools. I don't care. It's all noise at this point because there's only 4 things that matter. Even if all those things are true, and they could be, they're showing us the manipulation. Fine. You should ask yourself, why are they manipulating it? Because they know about Q3 box office, Q3 losses, Q4 appearing weaker than we had initially hoped, and upcoming vote, which is going to be dilutive, at least a little bit. So, and remember, they also got 79 million shares for $1.79 in July. And they want to get rid of those probably, I think, before the vote. And right now they're sitting at about a 50% gain. Wouldn't you sell? They're bondholders. They don't want to own shares. They got shares. They got them in an exchange, and they're looking, how do we exit this as profitably as possible? Sell into any run-up. Now we got a vote, and we got Q3 earnings, and it's going to be a little bit bloody. Let's dump these shares. I don't know. There's a lot to think about. I'm just spitballing theories. I'm trying to figure it out like you guys, but I can tell you the only things I'm focused on are the 4 things we just talked about. All the rest is noise, could be true, doesn't matter to me. You should ask yourself why. Why is all of that happening? And if you can't answer the why, then you're going to get wrecked. You could have a why that disagrees with me, and if you can articulate it, and you're right, I will toast and celebrate you being smarter than me. I'm not trying to say I have all the answers or that I am going to be right, but I think I'm going to be right. I think I'm going to be right. Therefore, it's what I think is driving my trades. Whatever you think, let that drive your trades. I am currently executing what we call patience to see if my theories play out. And I will hope, if my theories are correct, that I will get a much cheaper entry than the current price. And if I'm incorrect and the volume turns around and the momentum changes, not the volume, the momentum turns around, or we get a good solid bounce off a really good low, maybe I take a little swing at it, but I'm not there yet. When I'm there, I will certainly let y'all know. Ben says, is trading my full-time job? I have some businesses that I run from home here, Ben. I did corporate life. People say, Tony's a failed actor. I worked in the high-tech industry for 15 years. I was an engineering manager. I left that job 20 years ago. I've been doing my own thing. A lot of different things. Some worked out, some didn't. Kind of been doing the same things now, multiple businesses since 2020. And, when I'm when I have free time, yeah, I sit here and I watch stocks and I research stuff and I read filings and I try and make a little extra money doing that too. I wouldn't define myself as a full-time day trader, but I enjoy the heck out of it. And it's how I spend most of my day, not necessarily trading, but researching, trying to learn, trying to get better, and then sharing my very unpopular educational learnings with you guys. Unpopular because often what I come up with goes against what other people are pushing as their theories, but you know, I'm willing to change my theories if I learn something. Or if I find that my theories aren't working to make me money. I mean, if you've been holding AMC since 72, hoping for a short squeeze, and you haven't learned that that's not working, I'm not that guy. If I see something's not working, I'm going to figure out what does work and shift my strategy. And then I'll talk about it. Like, you know, same thing with GameStop. I've shifted my strategy several times with GameStop. The GameStop pumpers hate me because I keep on shifting strategies. How dare you not just buy and hold like the rest of us? Because I try and use rational common sense. If what I'm doing, the data I'm looking at changes, then I change my strategy. That's called using investing intelligence. Patrick says, are you holding any AMC? No. This was my sell. I had been buying in the low fours. The cheaper it got, the more I was buying at the end of last year. I've been swing trading AMC for a long time. My best, look at this, we made 1,000% on this move in May of 2024. I had shares and call options. I don't typically trade options on AMC, but I had a good feeling because of the Roaring Kitty shit. I exited it close to break even here in November. That it was frustrating because I had been building a good position for a while. And then when we got the earnings here and I did my 12-month look ahead at cash flow and box office, I said, we're going to get wrecked. And I told you guys that on video and in Discord in November. And many people got mad, called me crazy. You don't understand this ticker. You don't understand the box office. You don't understand the secular rotation. I don't understand. Well, I mean, okay, you could say I don't understand, but here we are a year later, and who was right? Who understood? I'm not against AMC. I'm just waiting for the point where the risk is out of the trade. I think we're getting real close, but I'm not ready to come back in yet. I pay for AMC A-list. We go to a fuck ton of movies. We spend a lot of money on concessions. That is doing my part. I don't need to hold the stock into the red. Y'all want to do that? That's on you. Go ahead. I will come in when the time is right. Who's texting me at this wee hour? The wife. Aw. She says, thank you again for all the things that you help me with and everything you do. I really do appreciate all of it. I'm going to tear up. You might see a moment of emotionality out of me. Very sweet text. Thank you, babe. I know you're probably not watching, but I appreciate you too. She's at work. I think, you know, for the people that are patient, there's a very good chance there's going to be a right time to buy AMC. But I also have a fear, which may be correct or may not be correct, that the next 60 days, 90 days may not go as optimistically as some people are thinking that they're going to go. You know, 270s. What's the market cap? It's 1.4 billion. What's the worst that could happen? I don't think the market cap is going to get decimated. 1.2 billion, 1.3 billion, 1.4 billion. Those are all pretty historical norms, right? But if AMC issues another 100 million shares and you want to keep that same market cap, what has to happen to the price? It's going to adjust down. I'm not thinking AMC's in imminent bankruptcy or that it's going to fall to $1 the day that the vote happens. It'll move according to whatever dilution is built into the vote or whatever dilution AMC does, and it'll try and keep the same market cap. And then if conditions improve and cash flow improves and box office and revenues improve, the market cap could go up. But, you know, that's the long man's game, 2026, 2027. I want to find that sweet spot where I can get in at peak. What's the word? Where people's spirit is broken. Peak despair, but just before the turnaround. I'm hoping that moment exists, that golden pocket for AMC. And I hope to load up then. But it's going to take paying very close attention to box office and cash flow forecast. Because all we're trying to do in my Discord, all we do is try and think like the corporate managers. What are they strategizing? They're looking ahead 4 or 5 quarters. What are they thinking? That's what I did in November of 2024. That is why I sold. I'm trying to think like the CFO. I'm trying to look at the box office, and he's looking at the balance sheet and the box office, and he's saying, oh, hell, we're going to need to dilute. And he did. He did just like I believed that he would. And it's perfectly reasonable and rational to me why he needed to do it. Because Q1 was going to suck. We should have somebody in Kansas City watching Sean's house to see when the newspapers start piling up. When he's on vacation, it's safe to come in this play. Any of y'all ever worked on a long project and you know that day comes where you finally get the damn thing done and that's when you can finally take your vacation? Sean's on a liquidity project that's been lasting years now. Capitulation, Kyle, yeah. Chappie says, it's kind of weird that any momentum AMC gets, AA takes a big shit on the stock market. Yeah, I mean, I understand people are feeling that kind of way, Chappie. And I won't deny that sometimes when he tweets, the price goes down. There's no denying that. I don't know that if I'm across the finish line that he is creating that or that it's a signal. I don't know. I'm not going to push those anti-CEO theories, but at the same time, I can recognize that what people are saying has some at least coincidental timing. I can't rule anything out, but I'm not so conspiratorial that I think that it's on purpose. I don't know. It could be. I don't worry about that stuff. I focus on the 4 things that I told you: box office, cash flow, and corporate actions. And I try and forecast them. It is weird. It is weird. I mean, I totally get it. I don't have a good answer for that one. I just try and steer clear of that conversation. Max says AMC to the moon. Let's go, Max. Let's put some rockets in the chat for Max. A little shout out to Judge Zern too. Make any popcorn project people that are watching right now. Let's give them a little aneurysm moment. I hope, I'm looking forward to the day where both Highcroft and AMC can have their we made it moments. I really hope that happens for everybody. But the ones who will make out the best are the ones who patiently waited for the absolute moment of capitulation. And right before no more dilution for liquidity is necessary. There will be years of dilution for paying down debt. That is my prediction. But, they got to fix the debt. And they're not going to make enough money to pay off the debt. So they have to issue shares. Like, we still got to be smart about swing trades. Because once they have those shares and they need them, they need to fix the balance sheet. They will use them at some point. I just hope that they use them patiently into run-ups. There's no pressure. The debt's pushed to 2029. Take your time, Sean. Let the box office cook. And if it's good and you get a little price appreciation, then take care of some of that debt with debt for equity swaps. Just be patient, Sean. That's all we're asking. Let the kids have some fun here. Let the price run up a little bit. Sparky, what do you think? Do you think he's going to be patient? Also, Sparky, I want to ask you, what do you think is going to happen with there is a little bit of debt due 2027. And we believe, right, that debt is higher rated than lower rate, higher credit rating than the rest of AMC's debt, that Odeon debt. Do they just refinance and push the maturities out on that? What do you think, Sparky, our resident expert? Yes, we're having this tough conversation, Sparky. After the yes vote, they will issue shares to fix the converts or allocate shares. They will allocate shares to fix the converts. After that, it's just watching liquidity. Pray for a good Q4. Go see some movies. Anya says, did you get a new mic yet, Sparky? Yeah, we want to have you on one of these days soon, Sparky. Richie says, this was supposed to be a good quarter for AMC. I know. Y'all, since y'all are here, let's just look at my spreadsheet. I'll give you a little preview of our end of month video. I think I'll wait. So these were the movies that carried over from last quarter. And we got a good little bump from them. What do we got? We got 85 million from carryover movies. That's pretty good. We got an extra 34 million from Taylor Swift. That's 80 plus 34, 110 million. And the box office is what? Like at 270? So this month's movie releases have absolutely sucked. Because if it wasn't for the carryovers from last quarter plus Taylor Swift, we'd be sitting at 120, 150 million from October movies. And this red box is the actual, the left of it was my forecast that I did before the quarter started. You can see we are horribly outperforming. We are horribly underperforming on almost every movie. Horribly. It's bad. I mean, it's bad. I can't sugarcoat it. I was already not expecting Q4 to really start picking up steam till Wicked in late November. That's fine. but we're leaving money on the table on every single movie. Like, this matters. This $100 million left on the table from movies that just no one's going to see. That's not good. And so I'm kind of at right now. Now you could share your thoughts. Here's kind of where I'm at. If I add up all the movies for Q4 plus the carryover from Q3, I'm at 2.8 billion. However, over to the right here, 575 of that is gonna be realized in Q1 because we have these huge movies like Avatar hitting at the end of the year, and a lot of the money that I'm forecasting for them is not going to count for Q4. So I'm allocating 500 million of Q4 movies is not going to be realized till admissions in Q1. That'll help Q1, but it rug pulls our Q4 number. So what? We subtract 500 from this, we're at 2.2, 2.3. And then this is only wide releases. We add in all the small titles, the limited releases. Now what? We're at 2.5. We need 2.8, 2.9, 3. We were promised that it was going to be the best quarter ever. I'm not seeing that it's going to shape up that way, but I do think it will be cash flow positive. That's the silver lining. It will be cash flow positive, I think. And then we'll get rug pulled on cash flow in Q1 like we did Q1 of this year. So just keep your sensibility hats on, and we will need to watch this very closely, and I hope y'all go support these movies. There's a lot of great ones that I'm looking forward to. Predator, Badlands, I'm looking forward to that one. I'll probably go see some of these other musical type movies, like we got Bruce Springsteen. We got another one at the end of the year I just added to the list here, Song Blue on Neil Diamond. That's not till Christmas. I'll definitely go see that one. Why not? It's got some good songs. Running Man, Sisu. I can't believe in 2023 Sisu only did like $7 million. It's a very stylized, over-the-top CGI action, bloody shoot 'em up movie, kind of like 300, but it's one man against all the Germans. I'd like to see people support that movie, but I can only allocate a target of 8 million to it because no one went to see it in 2023. I'm really looking forward to this one. And then Wicked will do good. Zootopia will do good. Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know if I'm being overly optimistic here. I have 75 million opening weekend, 140 for the year. We got a whole month of Five Nights at Freddy's. And then Avatar. I mean, there's not a lot to talk about between now and Wicked. I hope people go see these movies. I'm gonna do my best. But I'm just one man with one redhead that likes her boneless chicken wings and her snack plates. Can we get the appetizer, everything, and share it? Anya says, please take a moment to explain why after hours trading doesn't reflect what will happen in the morning. A lot of times the institutional players just aren't really on board. They're not even participating in any ticker after hours, Anya. And retail, especially if it's a retail momentum play, they're going to be bidding it up and they're going to see the price and they're going to get more excited and they're going to buy more and their friends are going to buy more and it's going to get social media hype and the buy. And then when the institutions come in the next morning, they're like, thank you very much. Cha-ching, sell. And it gets rugged. I don't ever make firm predictions based on after hours. I pay attention to it. It's fun. I hope it holds. But you got to be very careful making assumptions about after hours price action. New Mocha Joe says they could do 75 million a day and it would take years to dig out. Yep. What are we arguing about here, Sparky? Oh, yeah. We're talking about Sparky. I was postulating that the Beyond float is no longer 68 million shares. It's probably more like 370, 380 million. And therefore, the short interest is also probably much lower than what people are seeing. And we see this sort of thing all the time. We talk about it on this channel, how the data hasn't caught up with the corporate actions. But people will still keep reporting the wrong data. Shorts are screwed. Short interest is 68, 70, 80%. Or maybe it's 370 and the short interest is only 20%. I mean, keep pushing it up, the shorts will come back. Chainsaw Man, I don't even think I have that one on my list, Zachary. How did I miss that one? Is that in Q4? I know what you're talking about. Box Office Mojo. Is that a anime movie? Okay, I see it. I don't have it on my list because it is showing as limited release, October 24th. I try and only forecast the wide releases, but if it ends up booking, you know, over 10, 15 million, 20 million domestic, I'll add it in here. Kenneth says, Tony, what happens if the AMC proxy vote ends up with a no? What are some of the backup possibilities that AA could go for? If it was me, Kenneth, I mean, I know y'all don't want to hear this, but I'd just pray that box office brings in adequate liquidity. And if not, then I'd go to the bondholders and say, can we work out an out-of-court restructuring Chapter 11? But that's if there's a no vote and the company has no ability to raise cash. You can only pray for good box office and adequate liquidity. You have hamstrung the company's ability to fix any more debt. It's an impossibility. So management is going to be very broken at that point. They have no options. They have no optionality. Shareholders don't support anything they're trying to do. And so the easy way is just say, screw it, and go to Chapter 11 and restructure the company and get a fresh start. But we will get royally screwed. We'll get nothing. The other thing they could do is anything with preferred, or they could go issue more debt. Are those good options? More debt? No. That's the opposite of what this company needs. So I'd be shocked if they went that route. But you could get money. You could get liquidity by taking on more debt. Sure wouldn't be good for what they're trying to do, which is fix the balance sheet, fix the ratios, fix the credit rating. It's the opposite of what you want to do. They could do anything with preferred. It's blank check preferred. I'm not saying they repeat APE, but they could do anything. They could sell preferred. I don't know that they'd want to go through all that. Do you? Mm-hmm. Chris says, how's Beyond up more than 20% overnight session? Low volume, most likely, right? I mean, I'm loving it. I'm long. I still got my position. But what's the volume on these hours here? Well, I mean, it's all right. I stand corrected. It's a hell of volume. Look at this shit. That was after hours. 21 million, 6 million, 16 million, 13, 14 million. That's hella volume. Then you get in the overnight hours. Now we're at 500,000, 380, 430. The volume is dropped off. So this is more suspect. But I'm gonna go to sleep tonight praying to the gods, both old and new, that we don't wake up to a rug, and that as soon as they allow trading again, that it continues to move up. Are we still trading right now? Really? I thought y'all said they stopped the trading. It's still moving. It's still trading going on. Someone told me they stopped the trading, or is it that if it hits 20%, it stops? Let's go. Let's go for the full 20%. Come on, Sparky. We all want Beyond to do good. Don't get mad at our friend here, Chris. Sparky, stop. I'm long Beyond too. I want it to go up. Let Chris be optimistic and spread the gospel. I ain't touching pumping this stock, but I am long and I hope it goes up. Wedmore says, will there be enough FOMO to push it to 4 or 5? There could be, Wedmore, but the higher it goes, here's my concern is the higher it goes, the more selling pressure is going to come in from those bondholders who got fresh shares, and the more tempted shorts will be to try and stop it. There will be a point where the shorts say enough is enough. We can wrestle this thing down. I want to be out before that. Ideally, I don't know if I will be out before that, but could it go to 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah. It'll go until they say enough is enough. And it's still going. $1.92. Let's go, baby. Come on, Chris. Don't listen to Sparky. We want to make money, Sparky. Come on. I know Sparky's very risk averse. That's cool. Sparky, I woke up in the middle of the morning this morning, opened my eyes for a few seconds and bought some Beyond, and then just turned my phone off, went back to sleep. Still long, still praying. We'll see what happens in the morning. I don't know. I hope it runs. If not, we're in a good position still. So Sparky, guys, he's a professional. So I would say, don't discount his inputs. But Sparky, even though we love you, we know you're also not into these momentum trades, and you're just trying to counsel people to not lose money and understand what's going on. And we appreciate that very much. But as I've said, guys, never underestimate retail's willingness to push something up well beyond common sense. Let's go beyond $2, $3, $4. Let's go. I'll take it. I'll take it, man. Will it happen? I don't know. We'll have something to talk about tomorrow if it does happen, right? Anya says AI called Beyond a meme stock. I call it a meme stock too, Anya. Look at the thumbnail. Today is Monday Meme Stock Madness. Beyond is the featured meme stock of the day. Don't tell me you can't make money on other tickers besides GameStop. These GameStop elitists leaving 200% on the table in one day. We love stuff like this. Just size your position accordingly, because you never know when it turns. Anya says, Tony, do you remember when you told me to bail on Beyond at $7? I didn't listen. I know, Anya, I have never been a big fan of Beyond, but I'm a fan at 50 cents, Anya. I'm a fan at 50 cents. I'm a fan at 65 cents. At least for a day. I ain't trying to long-term hold Beyond. I'm just riding the wave. Surfing. New Mocha wants to talk about Ryan again. That was a bizarre interview. It's going to give me content for this entire week, Joe. He got all into Cyberdyne's going to take us all down. AI is going to wipe out the race of humanity. I'm thinking to myself, like, he's wanting people to hold GameStop for decades, and he's worried that AI in China are going to wipe us off the face of the earth in the next few years. How do you reconcile those two things? I don't know. Anyways, it was fun conversation listening to him. He's mad at AI. He's mad at games that involve shooting, which I thought was kind of like, maybe, you know, it's okay to have those opinions, Ryan, but maybe sometimes just zip it. Read the room. You know who's listening to this podcast, Ryan, is a bunch of gamers, and we love Call of Duty. No, you can't talk down our Call of Duty. You gotta know when to zip it. Zippity doo dah. I agree with him as a parent. But as the CEO of a gaming company, come on, Ryan. Was that the best? And I saw a lot of people complaining. Why didn't he talk about the warrants? People wanted him to talk about the warrant squeeze. Guys, warrants are vanilla shit. They're a just-in-case shit for Ryan Cohen to bring $1.9 billion more into the company. What is he going to say? There's no such thing as a warrant squeeze. That is a fiction created by pumpers. Some of those pumpers have already sold their warrants. So how much conviction did they have in that fucking grifting bullshit they were giving you 2-3 weeks ago? Oh, man, these guys. My hope is over the next year, Ryan finds a deal. Sounds like he hadn't found one yet, but my hope is he finds a deal, and the excitement over that will shoot this thing up over $32. He provided everybody the optionality. If you want to hold those warrants and wait it out, I actually bought some extra warrants, and I might buy some more if they get cheap enough. But it's just a 1-year leap option. You could go buy the October calls and have the same trade. There's nothing magic about the warrants, other than it'll be magic for GameStop to get almost another $2 billion if investors run the stock up for whatever reason. I think the best chance of that happening at this point, since we're pretty convinced now Roaring Kitty has moved on. I hope I'm wrong, but I think the best chance of us making money on warrants really depends on Ryan Cohen finding a use of that cash. And I can't tell you that that is a certainty, but I'll put a little bit of money on the line. Why not? He said he had a teacup poodle. Yeah, I think his poodle was featured in a couple of Chewy photo shoots back in the day, Chappie. Warrants are just a cash cow for GameStop if something pops off. They're what I call, all right, this is real talk here. I'm going to make some GameStop elitists howl. They are a less gross way to dilute you. They're more palatable way to dilute, because everybody's going to be excited that they got a free gift. And if something happens, you can monetize that gift. And if nothing happens, you're not really any worse for the wear. But if the price runs up, there's going to be dilution, and everybody wins. It's a win for us, and it's a win for Ryan. And it's a very palatable way to have that just in case. As the CEO, it's a brilliant move just in case. And literally nobody's complaining about it. It's a king chess move. It's not a promise of anything. He's just positioned himself to capitalize on any crazy momentum. Beautiful. And rightly so. None of us should complain about it. If it runs up, GameStop brings in another $1.9 billion, and you got to make a little bank on your warrants. Who would complain? The people who bought options. The people, when it runs up, the people who are buying the $40, $50, $60 options, they're going to complain because they're going to get wrecked. But if you trade those warrants intelligently in the run up, the other people that'll complain is the ones who give up all the time value and exercise the warrants. They'll probably complain when the price comes back down. But those of you who trade these warrants intelligently, if there is any run up, you're not going to be complaining. You're going to be like, thank you very much. And Ryan Cohen's going to be like, thank you very much. No, thank you. No, thank you. And we'll be popping some champagne. But maybe not if you exercised just to hold and never sell. You might not be feeling champagne-y. Cisco says, is it too late to get in beyond? I don't give those kind of... I will just tell you guys, as always on these momentum trades, you got to be up early and you got to move early. Is it too late? I don't know. I don't know where they're going to snub it. The higher it goes, the more I worry about risk. But I have seen these things run far beyond where I thought they could run. So size your risk accordingly. I was up early doors for 2 minutes to check the price and buy it this morning, and then I went back to sleep. You got to be early. You got to be early to minimize your risk. Could it keep going? Sure, it could. I hope it does. I'm still long. Zach says his comments about video games makes me wonder if he's ever enjoyed them like most men do. I mean, that's a good point. But he's not a liberal think tank, Zachary. He's conservative, Trumpish. And then they asked him, have you ever thought about politics? And he was like, he had to pause to not say something mean. He's like, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm Canadian. I was born in Canada. He diplomatically paused, let the evil thoughts leave, and then he said, can't do. I was born in Canada. Hey, he's got a great position as the CEO of GameStop. And what do we call it? GameStop Bathaway. Not Bathaway. Has nothing to do with Bed Bath & Beyond. GameStop. Let's call it GameStop Hathaway. He's going to be well positioned with a cash holding company, carefully waiting to pounce at the right moment. That's cool with me. Take your time, Ryan. But I'm telling you guys, I think these people promising moonshots and rockets tomorrow are not going to be the people to listen to for the next year. Our only prayer is Ryan finds a good deal with that cash. Zach says, nobody I played violent video games with ever became violent. Yeah. My two boys played those games growing up, but not when they were 8 years old. And also I know that I have very stable, well-adjusted emotionally and mentally kids. You got to exercise some discretion as parents. I had two rules when they were growing up. No video games before you're mature enough to handle them, and no fucking Barney. What's that? The dinosaur, I love you, I love me. No, none of that in this house. Yeah, 5 and 6 year olds, that is ridiculous on you. You can't be teaching little kids stuff like that. Like you got to get your kids centered in life, that life is precious and violence is, it can be an entertainment. It should not, you don't want to warp their minds to desensitize them to violence at that early of an age. But you just say that. Just say, I think violent games, I wish parents would use better discretion in following the ratings of those games. That would be okay, but just to say we shouldn't have Call of Duty, I don't know about that. I'm showing Chris the in after hours. Oh, that was, maybe it's the after hours overnight. We're not up 20% overnight, right?
Andrew Trimis donated $2 through Super Chat. Can you please share your thoughts on CISO Global?
Let me just measure here real quick. I have 17% roughly at $1.95. 20% would be roughly, I'm just drawing a line here. I don't know if it's right. Roughly around $2. We're at $1.90. Let's see if it caps out, if it hits $2. Andrew says, can you please share your thoughts on CISO Global? Yeah, Kyle, I stopped playing Call of Duty around the zombie time. My youngest was really good. As he was finishing high school, he was really good and he liked the zombie maps. It was very frustrating to me. I couldn't. I had to just let it go. Sisu, not Sisu, CISO. Loki, I'll feed you in a minute. My cats are wandering around complaining now. Din time. Whoo-wee, look at this. What is this company? $500 dropped to 26 cents. What the heck? Cybersecurity and software company based out of Scottsdale. Okay. I'm not a fan of that long-term trend on the chart, but let's see what they got. Why did this happen? No analysts covering it. Annual revenue trend is going down. We don't like that. Operating income never been positive. We don't like that. Net income never been positive. Shares outstanding is growing. They're diluting. Negative free cash flow. Yeah, we don't like the income statement. Let me just check quarterly and see if anything has shifted. Nope. Nope. I mean, already we're off to a bad start here. Cash running low, 760,000. We'll look at the cash burn in just a second. Current assets, 3.34 million. Current liabilities, 17. Balance sheets upside down. Working capital is severely negative. More dilution around the corner would be my first guess. Total assets, 25 million. Total liabilities, 18. At least we got that going for them. But working capital, current liabilities, current assets minus current liabilities, you're at negative $14 million. We got a problem here. Cash flow, operating cash flow is negative 2 million, and they have 700,000. So they're burning, look, the last 2 quarters, 2 to 3 million a quarter, and they have 700,000 in cash. I don't know. Seems pretty effed up to me. Tell me what's good about this company. They strengthened their balance sheet 19 days ago. All right, what'd they do? Exchanged debt into preferred shares. So they're doing debt for equity swaps. Still dilution. They're trying to fix the balance sheet. And that probably, does not show up on what I just looked at, the balance sheet, because this is recent, 19 days ago. But yeah, I mean, you better go understand what they're going to do to turn around that revenue and net income, because this company is going the wrong way. I see a lot of yellow and red flags, is all I'm going to say. Andrew, I think we can find safer plays. But you gotta convince me, you gotta sell me that they're on the cusp of a major revenue and net income turnaround. If you can't convince me of that, then I'd say stay away. Captain Caveman, thank you. Yeah, there's some people in the chat that are doing really well on Beyond. I did buy some in pre-market this morning. I'm doing good on it too. It's a risky play. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But you know, we're gonna go to sleep thinking good thoughts, and hopefully we wake up to good things. Captain Caveman says, can we take a look at AMTM? Amentum? I'm just looking at the chart here real quick on the daily. Obviously, we know they fell to 16 bucks. They're trading at 22. There is this little support zone here at about 21 bucks, which it seems to be trying to retest. So that's something I'd watch. Maybe, you know, I haven't even looked at the financials. I don't know what this company does. So I'm just looking at the chart. First of all, if you were bullish on it, you might want to start adding to a position at 21.72 with a very tight stop loss, 21.72, 22 bucks, and hope you get another bounce. You'd want to protect it with the stop loss so you don't get tanked all the way back down to 19 or 16 bucks. But let's dig a little bit deeper. AMTM, besides the chart, we want to always know what do the financials look like and what corporate actions might we be worried about. Forecast, we got analysts, 10 of them with a $28 price target. I like that. Are they recent? Yeah, I like this. We got two $30 and $35 targets in the last month and a half. We got one guy saying it's going to 20 bucks. One lady, Christine. Mostly people are bullish. All right. That's just one data point. Revenue trending up. Operating income trending up. Net income trending up. Free cash flow positive. All right. I mean, they passed the initial sniff test on the income statement. I'm not passing any judgment. I'm just calling it like I see it. So far, it hasn't thrown any red flags. Cash is increasing. Let's just skip to the chase here. Working capital is positive. Good. Shareholder equity, positive. All right. Balance sheet is reasonable. They do have debt. 4.4, what is that? Billion. But the balance sheet is okay. We got a high amount of goodwill, 5.6. Cash flow, operating cash flow is positive, but declining. Let's look at quarterly. Three quarters of positive cash flow. All right, we had a little problem back here a year ago, but I mean, yellow flag maybe, but not red flag. I'd want to go understand what divestitures is. I don't know. You have to read the 10Q. Cash acquisitions. There's some one-timer shit going on here that I can't decipher from just looking at this. Total debt repaid. They've been repaying their debt. And they issued some new debt, right? No, that's repaid. Debt issued and debt repaid. So they're probably, what, doing debt restructuring? I don't know. I mean, there's not enough for me to say it's horrible. You got analysts with higher price targets. I'd say interesting enough to keep digging. It's not like a runaway scenario. What do you think? What do they do? That's another thing that we forgot to look at. Engineering and tech solutions to the U.S. and allied government agencies, energy, environmental, intelligence, space, environment and climate sustainability. Yeah, I mean, I'd say, you know, if it interests you and you got a good story, or you think they got a good story, what is this? They're registering 90 million shares. Is this allowing resale of shareholders? They're talking about the selling stockholders. So maybe this may be registering shares for insiders to sell when they see fit. Yeah. We will not receive any proceeds from the sale. So they're registering 90 million shares for some insider or institution to unload 90 million shares when they want to. LG, Amentum Holdings LP, and ASP, Amentum Invesco. These are the sellers. So that's just something to be aware of too. You're going to have potentially some selling pressure if the price pushes up. 90 million shares, and the shares outstanding is 243, float is 151. That's material information telling me that I got to be realistic about there'll be selling pressure and it pushes up. Just what I think. It's not bad that they're doing what they're doing. It just is. It is. We see it a lot. That S3, you know, let those people, if they want to sell their shares, let them sell and get out. And then, you know, then you can unleash the hounds. But it could provide some downward overhang until they unload their shares. And who knows when they do it. I'd go research those people and see what they got their shares for. Are they in the green right now? How much are they in the green? What's their incentive and motivation? How fast do they want to unload? Just some filing, digging you got to go do. A lot of reading. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 10 o'clock here. I need to eat some dinner, and then we got to be up early for Beyond. Thank you for tuning in to the Monday meme stock madness. Let's go Beyond. Good luck to all of y'all in the morning. And maybe we can come back and pop some champagne if it's still running. I'm still holding, but no guarantees. If I see it fade, I want to exit in the green. Let's do a little bit of a green candle up, a red candle down. Have a good night, guys. We've been waiting for so long, and it rains soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, down over the ground. And she stays gone, for sure we're going on. Let me be down, let me love it by share. A green candle up, a red candle down, by the dip, down over the ground. Waiting for so long, and it rains soon be gone.
candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long, Eddie's rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip, gotta hold our ground. Eddie's games are dead and gone, fuck the shorts, we're going long. A green candle up, a red candle down by the dip,